individual, or organizations. The chair has the authority to enforce this policy. Failure to adhere to these rules may result in forfeiture of remaining speaking time.
Man, that guy's got a strong voice.
That's how we know it's working.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
At this time, do we have anybody logged in for public comment? Seeing none, public comment is closed. Mike, Highway Department, it's your time. We're a little bit early, but I think since you're here and you could speak.
Well, first on the agenda was bid letting project. It's our bridge removal project that we actually got approved for. We applied for a grant back in 22. And we were awarded the grant and they are just now letting it.
Mhm.
Or will let it after you guys approve this.
No, this is like the one through the state. It's the reversal of the bridge improvement grant. It's the bridge removal grant,
Yeah,
right?
this is actually a federal grant through with this one.
Oh.
We're on the hook for 1805%.
18% of the 182,000,
That's
still pretty good.
estimated. It might come in cheaper than that.
Sure. Where's this one located at exactly?
This one here would be 429 Avenue
Hmm.
and 305, a half mile north.
Okay.
Be over Joe's substation and be a mile west and then a half mile south.
Move approval of the bid letting.
Second,
Got a motion by Dan, second by Wanda to approve the bid letting for the bridge project, removal of the bridge. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Bridge project I have on there. Well, when Josh was here last with IMEG with the bridge inspection reports, we all know that there was issues with the bridge northwest of Irene. It's now down to 5 ton. So I handed out to you guys the 5-year bridge improvement plan, the original one, and then a proposed new bridge plan. Originally for this year, just north of Valley View, that bridge was on the books to get replaced. Now with this other deal coming up, change that one over to 2026. Also, another deal kind of fell together where we can get some good used deck units, bridge deck units from another county. I met with our company that installs our bridges for us. We looked at 4 different bridges. We'll do some shuffling with deck units. Our 40 footers will go to 50s, and I have a 35 that's going to go to a 40, and a 25 that's going to go to a 35. So we'll end up with one set of 40s left that we'll store at our Irene shop until we're ready to use them.
We're gonna add on to these decks. Is that the
No.
plan? Or are we gonna?
We're peeling our old decks off,
Okay.
putting new abutments under it and resetting these deck units on. We're shuffling deck units, but
And I think I just want to say thanks, John and Wanda and Mike and your team. I mean, this is a way to, reuse a good deck and replace the wood that has rotted at significant savings to the county versus just new decks. And, it comes in at just a fraction of the cost. And we have had success with that. We've done a number kind of in that same area further west of there, correct? With those, or didn't we do a couple like this?
yep.
Yeah, and we've had
Yeah, on the
good
west side of the
results.
county last, and
Yeah.
well, this year, 2024,
Yeah.
we did 2 of these.
So I just appreciate you guys for looking at how can we stretch the tax dollar as far as we can, and I think this is a great example of that, so.
So then we're talking approximately cost of 150,000 per bridge.
Mhm.
And it might be a little shy from that because
Mhm. Yeah.
a few years back, we stockpiled up on some H
Yeah.
pile. We got an
Yeah.
inventory of H pile. So I'm hoping,
But a new bridge like that would probably be 400,000.
close to 3.
So it's, you know.
So half price.
60% cost reduction, so.
And like I said in the past, we'll have brand new abutments. So say we get another 25 years out of these deck units, well, them abutments will still be good. We peel
Yeah.
them old deck units off, put the new ones on, we'll get another 50 years out of that and we'll be good.
And I think it's a good job that Mike hunted up these 2
Mhm.
bridge decks,
Yeah.
the 50-footers
Yeah.
at no cost to us other than
The ship,
transportation.
we gotta pay for the trucking.
We probably don't want to know the deal that took place to get those, so.
Whatever works,
Yep,
works.
yep. Did you want us, are you just letting us know that this is changed?
So that's, kind of a informational now. If, as long as you guys are good with this, I will, I'll have to have a resolution written up for changing the 5-year plan.
Okay.
Um,
Rob, do you know, does it modifications to the 5-year plan, is that a 10-day notice, or can we just do that or put it on the agenda?
I'm sorry.
You know,
Yeah, the answer is no.
okay, so as long as it's on the agenda as an
Yeah.
item.
so we have that for changing the 5-year plan. And then on the third sheet handout that I gave you guys, just a few changes possibly with the wind tower project.
Mhm.
The 12-mile stretch 294. The company,
Yeah,
the windmill company,
Next Star, whatever.
yeah,
Swan Lake LLC.
you know,
they're paying for that to get resurfaced to a double chip. They also said that they will take care of the dust control in front of all the places.
Mhm.
Or that during that process.
somebody's happy about that. Yeah, there we go. Well, and Mike, I think that makes a lot of sense. I know we were planning on moving forward, but why would we build that road only for it to get heavy trucks for years and then the end result is the road is not
Well,
what it should be?
It
So
was
I
get
think,
thrashed on right away,
Yeah.
right out of the gate.
I think,
Yep.
I think waiting on that is the responsible thing. So when the construction's done, we have a good road that'll last long. Yep. All right.
So with that, John and Wanda and I we got together, we had a little discussion on road projects to replace, not to replace, but to move some projects. 434 Kaiser. We did some traffic counts on that. I guess that'd be a possibility. John and Dan, you've been talking with the people out there, discussion on payment, assisting with double chipping that. Also, out on Deer Boulevard, north of West 11th, we have another developer out there that is interested in cost sharing his,
Mhm.
paying for the stretch in front of his, and he said he would be up for a lump sum payment instead of dragging it on, making payments or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
His stretch is 2,200 foot, and that whole stretch is 4,500-ish. So that'd be something where I say if we're gonna do in front of his, the county, we pay for the rest of the other 2,300 feet, and then as someone wants to develop that, that gets tacked onto that property. So this is just discussion for now.
Yep.
Food for thought.
I think it's a good plan.
Also, Utica Road between Utica and Joe Substation, we've been having major maintenance issues with that west 2 to 3 miles or the east 2 to 3 miles. Something I'd like to consider double chipping. I'm gonna get traffic counters out there.
Yeah.
So, and then also the other stretch that has been an issue would be 303 between Walshtown Road and 448. That 4 mile stretch. It used to be hard surfaced all the way to 449, which was another actual 1.5 miles. I don't recommend going that far. The high traffic issue is between 448 and 444. So yeah, another one for discussion.
That was the one that was double chip sealed, how many years ago was that?
No, that was hard surfaced. That one ended up falling apart when we did 301.
Mhm. So that's just been an overlay road and.
It was an overlaid road and
Yeah.
we never put it back.
Is the recommendation grind and do a double chip seal?
I would do a double chip there.
Okay. How is that? Yeah, that,
I'll get some reports run too on
Okay.
maintenance costs.
Yeah.
On all them roads, I'll
Yeah.
have a report run.
Yeah. and we have our own traffic counters, is that correct now?
We got our
We
tube
purchased-
traffic counters. I'm ordering some new ones.
Okay, I think that'd be good, just to get rough estimates, cause it's good information and good data for us to have is the amount of traffic on those roads, cause it's probably higher than what we think it is.
And then I emailed you guys
Mhm.
traffic counts off of 434 and Kaiser. You guys got them?
Yep. It's good information.
And then one other thing, besides double chipping, I know I originally had south of Lesterville all the way to the Boy Scout camp as microsurfacing. This year we have it in the plan to mill and overlay the 3 miles going north of Lesterville. I want to change my plan on that and I want to slowly in segments go south of Lesterville doing the same thing, mill and overlay.
Mhm.
So therefore, that's why I got that segment crossed out and adding 431 through Stone Church as a micro. That was micro on 431. I was already in the plan, but a year or two down the road. And then also I would keep from 50 to the Boy Scout camp as micro. We would just do the stretch between 50 and Lesterville for mill and overlay in the future. So.
So I think, next step would be to get, District 3 to redo the 5-year plan according to, if we can agree that Mike's got a good thought process there. Get the 5-year plan redone and bring it to us at our next available timeframe for approval.
And I'd really like to emphasize that, we need to get at those traffic counters before summer comes. I mean, I'd say almost get them now.
Oh,
or at the beginning.
we'll get them now.
Okay. And I don't know, I mean, are they ran off of batteries or what?
Yep.
Maybe, I mean, I wouldn't mind having those things out. Now and then, it'd be good if we could get year-round data. I think we realize traffic picks up in the summer, but it's probably pretty heavy on some of those roads in the winter.
And that's where these new ones that I want to get, they're expensive. They're about $3,000 a piece.
Yeah.
But there's no tubes, so therefore we can have them up during the winter and have it snow and we don't have to worry about.
It's good data to have for us to make those decisions on, and appreciate you getting those.
So
Well, Mr. Chair, when do you want to put this on? Do you want to do a year-end meeting or you want to do first meeting of the year? Or
What,
were you
what I'd
thinking?
like to do is see how soon
Okay.
District 3 could get the new
maps.
map.
the maps, you can have it done in a day.
Okay,
All I gotta do is redo the spreadsheets.
so can we put it on the schedule for, or the agenda for our first meeting in January? Does that give everybody enough notice?
And I think it's important if, to get the,
January 7th?
get these bids out, because everything is gonna go up and it's a good plan, so.
So therefore, the
Mike.
changes will be on on the agenda for January 7 meeting and move forward with that.
Okay. And also we'll have to get something, I'll have to get with Robert, someone with, the resolutions for that. Oh, and then there was one other thing, for discussion that I'll have on the January 7 meeting would be Oak Hills, English Heights. I want to put a low limit on there. I don't remember what I did on West 11's, what we did, if it was a 6 or 7 ton.
I'm pretty sure it was 6.
6, well, that's what I would like to go with.
Yep.
We're having issues with trucks going through English Heights right now. There's property being developed right there.
Yeah.
And them streets there are just, they're old blotter double chip is what it is, so, it won't take much for them to fall apart. And I think we got them looking pretty decent right now, and I would like to keep it that way.
I know it's pretty early too, but probably February, March, we'll start talking about load limits across the county and
That's another thing I have to have on the January commission
Yeah.
meeting is, resolution that I have to get sent to the state and
Yep.
the highway patrol.
and if we could maybe put something in the paper or something out on wherever that to get those heavy loads hauled now. So we're not running into problems when those roads are breaking up. So
Write that one down too.
every year we go through.
I know.
Well, really appreciate you, really appreciate your team. Thank you. So all the snow plows are ready to go, right?
We got them. Well, I have 2 trucks that we didn't mount up because I've been kind of holding off in case we can do some hauling still.
Yeah, that doesn't happen every winter, so.
No.
So.
Yes, Don.
I've been dying to ask this. You've been doing a great job of stockpiling stuff and getting good deals. I hear the Biden administration is selling border wall steel really cheap.
For $5 a section.
$5 a piece. Is
Didn't even find a use for it, huh?
Could you find a use for that?
I guess
Make a
we'll look
bridge
into
out
it.
of it or something?
Well,
That's a good idea.
Make a bridge and cement on top of the bridge.
I'll look into it, Don.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
The trucking cost getting it from Texas up to here though is gonna be the
Do
kicker.
you know anybody? Give us a deal.
I do, but I'm just saying it's gonna be.
Tell all your
little
crew to have
spendy.
a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from us.
Okay. Next item on the agenda. Do we need a motion to put that on the agenda for what did the 5-year? Okay. Next item on the agenda, Freedom Farms LLC cannabis renewal. They're not here. Right. So I get a motion to approve the renewal for Freedom Farms LLC.
I actually had a question about that. It says that they keep their stuff. They keep their stuff at, where are all the company records kept? Documents are kept at our law firm or at our principal place of business, but that doesn't really tell us where it is. Well, next time, can we just ask them to maybe put an address in or a name maybe? So if we ever had to look for them, we wouldn't have to just guess.
Is that something you wanna postpone or you wanna?
No, I just, maybe next time,
Next.
It's a good point.
Next,
They
next,
actually fill
next
it in.
next renewal.
Sure,
Okay,
next year, they should all put in where actually their document, they're in my basement, not real helpful.
gotcha.
Do we need a motion?
We need a motion to approve the,
So where is this located at? I was just looking at their application. It's like,
It doesn't say.
doesn't say.
It says see previous packet.
Uh,
Yeah,
Again,
I get your.
Not helpful.
Are you in the Freedom one?
Yeah.
I think it's on Highway 50 on the south side of the road, just barely out of. That's right.
okay.
On the south side?
I think so. Mosier's,
Well,
that'd be Nick Mosier, be the attorney for him.
but they couldn't they put it in there, Marlowe, Woodward and Huff?
I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Other than that, no.
get a motion then?
I would move to approve it
Got a motion to approve
grudgingly.
by Wanda. Can I get a second?
Yeah.
Grudgingly, I'll second.
Second by Ryan. Any
Discussion.
further discussion?
Yeah. Help me out so I understand this, but we're expected to renew licenses that we don't check on, that the state is supposed to check on, but we have no idea whether they check on it
Pretty much that sums it up, yeah. With no addresses.
with no address.
Good point, Don.
And, and I agree with Don. This is kind of one of those issues there where I think our three state legislators need to go to peer. And I know that there's been some with the medical marijuana. There's been some since it was voted on by the public to allow it. And there's been a few issues that have been addressed by the legislature. But there's several other issues that just exactly like this one that I think our state legislators need to look at and do more investigations or verify what they're actually allowing these people to do. And I'm that's my thought and my I've already talked to a couple of the legislatures and it's like, well, there's 100 and some other legislatures that they have to agree with. So, but, and I'm not saying that the solution is to not allow the licenses to be renewed, but I don't really know what the solution is other than for the legislature to deal with these issues.
Mhm.
And
So a question, Wanda, you probably can answer. Is there any possibility at all that if something happened, some event happened and there were lawsuits brought, could the cannabis processor sue the county?
Well,
Because they were,
anybody can
because they-
sue anybody for anything. That doesn't mean they'll win.
yeah,
Is the likelihood that they'll have a viable cause of action? I would say no.
okay. Not because we renew it without,
And that,
Without the address of where they keep their super secret records.
but an individual, if there were an accident or something, somebody was killed, they could sue anybody in the line, which would.
Sure, they could
which
sue
would be us.
everybody and then everybody gets out except the people actually who have done something. And I'm sure Mr. Clemish would agree.
any further discussion? So I have a motion by Wanda. I have a motion or second by Ryan to approve the renewal. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay,
Motion carries.
And from what I understand, if they meet this criteria, it's kind of like the liquor and alcohol licenses, we have to approve it. So even if we're
A
not,
little more detail would be,
yeah, I agree. with you.
Appropriate.
You're 100% right.
Yep.
So,
Looks like we have a guest on our Teams program and FHWA Adjusted Urban Boundary by Mr. Larry Dean. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Larry Dean. I am the Planning Data Manager for the South Dakota Department of Transportation. And this is a process we go through every 10 years with the Class 1 cities and counties that attend the Class 1 cities that are within the counties. We have 19 Class 1 cities in the state of South Dakota. That means they have a population of over 5,000. This is a process that we go through every 10 years, every time the census does a census. I've been involved in this in 2000, and I was involved in this in 2010, and I was hoping not to be involved in 2020, but this will be my last time for these urban boundaries. And what these urban boundaries are, they are actually a Federal Highway Administration transportation planning boundary. They're different than what the city limits are. And the process that goes through with this is based upon the guidelines for the Federal Highway Administration is once the census does its final count for the census in 2020, then what they do is they calculate population densities. And from population densities, they break those down into block groups. Well, in 2000 and 2010, they used population densities. Well, to make things more confusing in 2020, they're using housing units densities, 9.6 housing units to calculate the urban boundary. But according to the guidelines from the Federal Highway Administration, I have to include everything the Census Bureau has included. So in your packet, I'm sure Peggy included a map. We'll have if you guys approve this with a motion, then we'll have the chairperson sign this. What I did is I took the Census Bureau's urban boundary proposal, and then I got the newest city limits from the Department of Revenue, and I included the Census Bureau proposed boundary, and I included all of the city limits within the city of Yankton. And then I worked with the city of Yankton staff to look at any possible growth areas that may happen in between now and 2030, because this will happen again in 2032. But like I said, there is it's just a transportation planning tool is what it is. There's no funding tied to this whatsoever. Basically, it's a statistical thing that says, okay, on the Federal Highway Administration's webpage, we'll say, okay, if you approve this boundary within the urban boundary of Yankton, the Yankton urban boundary, and we have X amount of public road miles within that boundary on there. And the urban boundary in this map's kind of colorful because I wanted to make sure I showed the census urban boundary on it and the city limit boundary on there, and what was approved by Federal Highway in 2013 is that big red dashed line. But all the colors encompassed on this map will be the urban boundary. And there was a little bit of a change. The only little change was it on the east side of Yankton, where there must have been some housing densities in there. So the Census Bureau added that. So I had to add that on there. The real process is once this thing gets approved, I will work with the folks within the city of Yankton and Mike to take a look at the functional classification of the roads within that urban boundary and the rural areas. And you guys are probably wondering, what is functional classification? Well, the federal functional classification basically illustrates how the traffic is channelized through the rural areas in Yankton with the county of Yankton. Some routes we have arterial routes, we have collector routes, and then we have local roads. And that will be an additional agenda item for your consideration for your county commission at a later time, maybe maybe in February or sometime on there. So like I said, there's no funding tied to it. It's just a transportation planning tool. So, and I
Larry?
have, yep.
Dan Clements here, I got a question for you. So are these changes, these boundaries, are they gonna be then within the city municipal limits?
No, well, that's a good question.
Because some of the, because we need to know, because this is gonna change some stuff for roads that we
Correct.
currently have and that the
Correct.
city doesn't. And then also, police protection and fire
Correct.
protection. So
Cor-
I guess I'm curious from that point of view.
Correct.
Um,
And if I remember right on this thing, everything that we have on this thing currently right now within this boundary here, let me look here really quick here just to make sure. There is some pieces out on the east side of town that are currently not included in the city limits. And like I said, this urban boundary and the city limits are two totally different things. The city when that city
They
limits,
sound similar though, urban
they
boundary
do,
and city- I mean, they really sound the same.
they do sound similar, but when the city limits, the official city limits, they go through, they annex all that landmass and stuff. And this here is just an urban boundary. It's an arbitrary or urban boundary. And I did talk with the city on this, and they are under no, they don't have, even though we include the urban boundaries bigger than the city limits, they do not have to annex that landmass. It's just a planning boundary is all it is. Does that answer your question?
Well, not really, because it creates a lot of jurisdictional problems, if something happens,
For law enforcement primarily.
within the
Well,
urban boundary, but
what-
outside the city limits, who's responsible? Is that the sheriff or the police?
Well, no, that's actually not the case on this, because the urban
Okay.
boundary is just a planning for the transportation portion of it. It's just a thing
Sure.
for Federal Highway Administration and for me and your county highway superintendent to take a look at the functional classification on it. It has nothing to do with jurisdiction or annexations whatsoever on there. So on there, yeah, because I will be working with Mike, because I know that we still have a couple roads under the county's jurisdiction that has to get removed, and I'll have to bring that to you guys' attention here on another agenda item. But this has nothing to do with the jurisdiction of the roadway. Other than the designation for the functional classification. Does that help out?
Not really. I mean, it's kind of confusing gray area. I understand what you're saying, but it's nice from us to a county, so we know this side of the road is our responsibility. This side of the road is the city's responsibility.
Correct. And
this
that's
just kind of graze that
well,
line.
and that thing is, and that there is, it's like with the annexation with the city limits. I mean, that's where it shows. That's what the jurisdiction is. Okay, if we're annexing this landmass and it's currently a county road, and you're annexing on both sides, I would expect the city to take jurisdiction of that road. But this urban boundary here is totally different than the city limits on here. It's just a planning boundary that says, hey, from now to 2030, we're looking at this. It could be some potential growth areas.
Well, how is that different than an extraterritorial jurisdiction?
That is, well, I don't know how to explain that one, because that's
You know what? It's fine. Don't worry.
yeah,
about it.
because that one's
We
that one.
understand. We appreciate it. So
Yeah, that was its state statute. Okay. So any other question? But that was very good questions.
So I do understand everything here. The only, and I do think, yeah, you're pretty right on the east side of Yankton, that's going to be sort of more of a urban type of planning there. The only thing I was thinking is also, what about the west side in the lakeside areas? That's also been seeing a lot of development, and I just noticed that was down there. Is that going to be separate or?
No, see, because I did not see that one, and that wasn't a recommendation from the city, or I never got any recommendations on that one. So, and I'm under a really tight deadline, because I have to have these urban boundaries approved and uploaded to the Federal Highway Administration's website by December 27th.
got plenty of time.
Oh, yeah, because
But
it's gonna be on the city
that's-
commission on December
Yeah.
30th, 30th or 31st.
Yeah. That's a good point, though, that Commissioner Heine brings up. We've probably had more growth west of Yankton than east of Yankton.
Yeah, and I
By
think,
far.
Yeah.
you know,
It-
west
there
of
was-
Yankton,
Okay.
there's some areas out there.
There was
uh,
some additional, over by just north of 23rd Street on the west side.
Yeah.
In that,
Yeah.
there must be a housing area in there. That was a new addition to this proposed urban boundary right there, that segment. And let me look here, down, to make sure those were the only, and then there was an area up to the north side of town over by Highway 50. A small little piece, but any other questions?
I guess so basically, as far as us approving anything tonight, nothing's really changed as far as boundaries or it's just for the state highways department to start planning some things for the future, I guess, is what I'm,
What it boils down.
nothing really is changing for us tonight, so.
Yeah.
We can approve it without any issues or denials or anything like that, so. We appreciate everything that you've explained to us and.
Okay, yeah,
and-
because, that's one of the things, and I've been doing this now, this is my third go around, every 10 years on this, and that's one of the biggest things when I talk to the Federal Highway and the Census Bureau is the biggest problem they have is understanding is what's the difference between the city limits right now, the annexed landmass versus the urban boundary. And, and the thing is, it's, one guy told me, well, it's just a statistical thing where we can check our box. And then it's just like, no, we use it for transportation planning. And like I said, the biggest thing is to do after this next step is, and you'll probably hear from me again, is to calculate the total miles. And it doesn't matter in the jurisdictions, the total miles of public roads outside that urban boundary and inside the urban boundary. So I can recalculate the functional classifications because there's certain levels of road, which would be in the rural section, would be the rural major collectors that are federal aid eligible. And there's some, if you guys got some rural major collectors that you possibly want to apply for a raise grant, they would be qualified for that. So.
So I mean, with that information, I think we really would like to see some of that area west of Yankton
Mhm.
in there because there's been a lot significant development down there
Yep.
and significant traffic development.
Yeah, but we can actually, even though they're not included in the urban boundary, I can reclassify those things, functionally classify them so they're federal aid eligible.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly, because.
Yep.
Okay.
Because with the FEMA flood plan, there's not a whole lot we can do going east.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why, I've been a planner for a long time and I started scratching my head and I'm just going, that's not the direction I would go. So, yeah, I'm looking forward with Mike on reclassifying some of those roads.
So basically, Larry, what you need is signatures on this map that was sent out to us
Yes,
by
correct.
myself and
Just you.
Just you.
just,
Just you, because it's
Just
going,
you.
yep, because it's going to the city council of Yankton, I believe on the 30th.
oh yeah, I see the
Mhm.
city of Yankton also has to sign it. Do
Do you want this mailed back to you?
Yes, I would really appreciate it if you could get me in the mail tomorrow, I'd really be happy. Because like I said, I'm under a tight deadline. The thing is, it's the Census Bureau, which started in 2020, of course, with COVID. They got behind by 2 years, and then they only give me about 8 months to get this thing done with 19 Class 1 cities, and it's like,
We'll
So-
put this in the mail tomorrow if you promise us to send a copy of it back so that I can read the street names in the highway on this one where I can't on this one.
okay, perfect, absolutely. I could even do better. I could probably actually give you a map that shows you the whole entire county system
There you go.
in the area.
Yep, we'll hold you to that.
Okay, and disregard that.
Okay,
All right.
Is
can I
it-
get a motion to approve this?
I would move to approve the project development for the South Dakota Department of Transportation Federal Highway Administration map.
Grudgingly second, I guess. It's my turn, I guess.
I still think I would like to see the west side there
Yeah.
added to this map, and I think it could be done. I mean, we have another meeting on the
Yeah.
27th to approve this.
Could you do that, Larry?
Okay, I didn't hear that. What was that?
So we do have another end of year meeting on the 27th of December, before the city meeting even. Would we be able to get that west side of the Yankton there looked at and maybe added to the map before
Okay,
then? And
so-
we can approve it then?
Okay, so where exactly is that?
It's west of the city.
Yeah, we're looking west of the city down in the lake area.
How far
towards the
west?
state parks.
Be the
Yeah.
the Highway 52 corridor.
Yeah,
So how many miles is that from?
7
Because-
miles, basically.
How many?
7 miles, approximately.
Because I'm only allowed, because with the Census Bureau and the Federal Highway Administration guidelines, I apologize for this, but they can only allow so far of a jump.
How far would they let you go out?
Typically less than 2 miles.
We'd be fine with that as a starter.
as a starter,
Next time, 2 more miles.
How
yeah,
many miles?
2.
2 miles.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
So you'd
That's
be-
too much.
You'd be 2 miles west of West City Limits Road, basically? Is that?
2 miles west of the West City Limits Road.
Is that where you, is that as far
I'd
as?
say
you-
west of the municipal boundary on Highway 50, I would think would be the best.
So, you guys, when was your next meeting again? Because
The 27th of December.
yeah, and that's my
So
deadline
west
when I'm
of
supposed
52,
to.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, that's when I'm supposed to have them uploaded, and I got
We believe in you.
conditional approval because of the city's city commission meeting on the 30th, and I had to beg to get on that one. So, like I said, the biggest issue on this thing, even because it's just for transportation planning on it, just saying, hey, you know what, looks like an urban area, what we're gonna have. I mean, is there a big development? Is there growth there right now?
Yes.
Yes.
We
Okay.
actually did a study with Gary, who was that through DOT, South Dakota DOT, a traffic study out there when was that done? About a year ago? And because of that, because of the number of traffic and we actually are, DOT is putting a traffic light out there on the corner of 52 and Deer Boulevard. So to Commissioner Heine's
Okay.
point, it is a very busy area and
Okay,
6,000 people.
yeah.
okay, this is what,
More,
I'd
especially in the
say-
summer.
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I could see it in the
6,000 people.
summertime.
Yeah.
This is what I can propose, okay? So, if I send, because I'm gonna have to expand this map to include that area, because right now it's not included. I mean, I can't even see this area on this map, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to change this map just a little bit, and I can do that tomorrow. And if I email a PDF of that to Patty, could somebody mark on that map the exact area they want included on this urban boundary? And then I'll have to get with Brad with the city of Yankton tomorrow.
Please.
You betcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan, you wanna take charge of that? And-
Yeah.
And is that cool? Okay. I'd say we put Commissioner Heine in charge to mark where he'd like to see that, cause he's from that area and I'd be fine with that. And I think
Okay.
it'd be a start in the right direction for that, so.
Okay. Okay. You said, okay, to include all that, and I'll have to review the regulations for the Census Bureau and the jumps.
Mhm.
And so just include the whole entire area that you want included, okay? On it. So how far is it from the West City Limits Road for this whole entire area? 6 miles, you said?
About 7.
It's about
7?
7.
Okay, I gotta make sure that I zoom out properly on my map so I can get everything on there so that you guys can draw on it, okay?
And just to clarify, it's the Highway 52 corridor going west.
The Highway 52 corridor, okay. Okay. All right, that sounds like a plan.
So put it on the next meeting, I think. What do you want to do, Mr. Chair?
So then we will postpone this FHWA adjusted urban boundary item to the meeting for January 27th.
Get it approved on the, which was on
December.
Yeah.
December 27th.
December 27th.
Which was,
Yeah,
I
and-
recall right at 1 o'clock, right?
Would like to remind you that is basically just the last meeting to end the year.
I think if we had this, I don't think it'll take long. We don't have
No.
to go through as much process.
Yeah.
You're
And
you're gonna basically approve the
Maybe-
map
Mhm.
Maybe,
before then.
what do you,
Gotta have it.
what do you think about just making a motion to authorize Commissioner Heine to review and then approve and approve it and then you sign it? We could
We
do
need to
that.
have,
and
we're
then-
gonna need to have a motion to postpone this item
Okay.
to the December 27th meeting.
Okay,
Can I get a
I'll
motion
make
for
that
that?
motion.
second.
I got a motion by Don, I got a second by Dan to postpone this item, FHWA adjusted urban boundary map, to our meeting on December 27th. And any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Hi,
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Now I would accept a motion to have Commissioner Heine oversee the map and get that information to
I make that
Larry
motion.
and
Yeah, do we
Myself
need a
is fine.
motion for that or we can just probably have him do that?
27.
yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with Ryan. He's out in that area and he knows what he's
Yep.
doing, so that's a good plan, so.
Okay, so look forward to hearing back from you on the 27th.
Okay, well, I will not be
Yes.
able to attend your meeting on the 27th, but we can get everything all arranged so that you guys
There you
should be
go.
able to, we'll get everything on the map that everybody wants on there so that the approval can happen on the 27th. And the city can, and I can get the changes to the city by their meeting on the 30th, so.
Okay.
Mhm.
Like I said,
Okay.
I will send this right away in the morning to Patty so she can get it, so somebody can mark that map up. It'll be an electronic file, so she'll have to print
Yeah.
it out and then just mark the map up and then I'll make the changes and I'll get it electronically back to Patty and meet with the city. And then we'll get everything all worked out.
sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
You bet. Bye.
Okay, moving on. Next item on the agenda, extra pay custodian.
I guess I'll take this one. When Jeff left, Dennis took over, as department head for about a month and a half. Gary, is that accurate to say? And I guess it traditionally, when somebody's acting department head, they had gotten $1 more an hour for doing that. So I would think 36-hour weeks times $1 times 6 weeks, $216. I mean, do you think that's fair, Gary, or?
I move approval of that
All right.
recommendation.
Second,
Got a motion by Don, second by Ryan to approve the extra pay for the custodian.
And
Further,
this is not going forward.
It's a
This is just
one-time deal.
One-time deal, yes.
Yep.
Any
any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
I,
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion
and
carries.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to thank Dennis for his hard work during the transition period, so much appreciated.
Okay. I think we'd all extend that. All of us would extend that.
Exactly.
Gary,
We have one plat tonight, plat of lots 1, 2, and 3, and 4 of Wildwood Heights in the east half of section 13, township 93 north, range 57 west of the 5th principal meridian, Yankton County, South Dakota. You just did a little sliver of a vacate here at the last meeting, and now this is the cleaned up plat, and all the lots are back into compliance, and so it should be good to go.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of the plat.
Second.
Got a motion to approve, second by Dan, second by Ryan. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you. Well, good. So are we gonna see you anymore now? You're one of our biggest fans. Yep, thank you.
Billing staff hire an ambulance purchase. Ambulance. Eric, you're up.
Good evening. Thank you all for your time this evening. So we've got 2 items on the docket for this evening. The first one is for our billing staff. Brenda Goebel's been with us for 10 years. She let me know in the last couple of weeks that her plan to retire is the end of July. With us bringing billing back in-house, they're still in the process of setting a lot of those components up, and there's still a lot of legwork to do. And we're also going to be finalizing the stuff with AP Trite in the first quarter of 2025, which you guys should be aware of. Knowing that AP Triton is going to be giving them some information, we're going to try to narrow in some items that can be worked on to make them better at what they do off of their recommendations, because we always have room for growth, even though those ladies are doing a really nice job. With that being said, that would leave us with Maria as our only full-time biller, and she's planning to retire within 3 years. To ensure that the billing continues on with consistency and to make sure everything runs smoothly, I'd like to bring on another full-time biller up until Brenda's departure so she can educate both Maria and the new person on the billing process. So far with the new process, we've kind of siloed them. Maria's taking a component, Brenda's taking a component, and Lisa, when she's there kind of part-time, helps out navigate some of those waters. And so looking for the benefit of bringing billing back in-house, I'm looking to bring on another full-time biller to make sure that we don't have any bumps in the road as we move down the road. In visiting with the billing ladies today, the futuristic plan is when Maria gets ready to retire and we have that other person there, I would retain one full-time biller and a part-time biller, and we wouldn't have 2 full-time billers because they should technically be up to speed. We should have all the things ironed out that they need to figure out and make sure that things are running smoothly. So that's my hopes, but it's going to take up until Maria retirement should be about 2.5 years after Brenda.
Is Maria full-time or part-time then?
Maria is full-time. Well, Maria's full-time. Both Brenda and Maria work 35-hour weeks.
So you have Lisa, currently Lisa worked part-time.
Yep.
Maria's full-time.
Yep.
Brenda's full-time.
Yep.
And then you're asking for another full-time person?
For 6 months.
Okay. When would that person start? Immediately or like?
I'm guessing probably a month or 2, just because we have to make sure the job description's out there.
Sure.
Put the notice of application out there, review it, run through the application process and make sure that we're bringing on the right person for the job.
Sure.
My hope is to find somebody that wants to stay with the system for longer than 3 to 4 years. It's going to be there for a period of time. So we don't have future turnover quite so quickly.
You think a part-time person would work for that? And the reason I ask is that I know there are, retired people from the clinic and the hospital that, maybe have some of this medical billing experience, and we could at least explore that and maybe get somebody who'd want to work part-time in that position. And then that I would leave it pretty close because Lisa's going to stay, and then you'd have Maria. And so you'd have really 3 people. It'd be like the equivalent of 2 full-time people, 1 full-time and then 2 part-times.
Well, in the conversation with Lisa, I'm not, she's getting up there in years. I'm not
Mhm.
too sure when she's ready to hang it up just yet.
Sure.
I'm not saying that a part-time person can't do it, but for them to be able to pick up the full billing perspective,
Mhm.
in a part-time role, I think would be extremely difficult. And again, moving forward, I think that part-time person would be a good fit for exactly what you explained.
Mhm.
I'd rather bring on a full-time person for the 6 months to make sure they're up to speed on all the different processes, because we want to break down some of those silos and make sure things are going to run smoothly when Brenda does step away, because she does come with 10 years of knowledge.
Mhm.
And ambulance billing is not just simplistically billing. It's kind of a beast of its own.
Yep. I guess
Other thoughts?
I'm concerned, we keep adding and adding, people, and I know, we can always justify it, but, that's a concern to me. Government continues to grow, it never really shrinks. I would willing to look at this, but I think we should maybe try a part-time person first. That's my opinion, but willing to listen to the rest of the commission.
Yeah, I guess I think about it as like, I like the idea. I think it's good forward thinking. The only hope is that we can have like a very good guarantee that it's like, yeah, we are only gonna be staffed extra for 6 months, not, doesn't become a permanent thing.
Yeah, that's my intent, is to get the person up to speed. Brenda transitions out. Those two will continue to working on, and I have to ensure that one of them becomes a certified biller. So I have to send them to a specialized course for that. But the intent is to get one of them through, and if I can get the right full-time person done through the training course, they've got Maria to kind of fall back on in the meantime until she retires. And then when she retires out, we've got our full-time biller, and then we will look at whoever is going to fill that part-time spot moving forward, whether it's Lisa or whether we can find another retired individual who wants to work part-time with us.
Who is certified billers now?
Brenda's the only one.
Okay. How come is Maria, is that something she wants to do, or, I guess why, she's been there about a year now, hasn't she?
She's been there just under a year,
Yeah.
and we've had that discussion. I'd like to
Mhm.
get hers done.
Good.
But moving forward, if I'm gonna spend the money, let's send the new full-time person who's hopefully gonna be there with some longevity. I'm not against or opposed to having both of them certified, because then you
Mhm.
have a backup. But then you're also
Yeah.
looking at spending a little more money to send them to a course too.
Yeah. Well, and do they have to be certified to do billing? Or is that just an extra? I mean, to do billing, do you have to have done this course, or is it optional?
That's a great question, and I don't know the answer to it, but it better prepares them
Sure. And
for all
maybe
the ins and outs and uniqueness to
Yeah.
what the industry brings.
And maybe that's, a requirement of the job, if you're gonna, that's how it is with, assessors and law enforcement, is you have to be certified with this job in a year. And maybe
Well,
that's something that we
At
could do.
present, we have two that are not certified and they seem to be struggling along.
Yeah. But, I guess
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it a requirement though? It should really be something they would strive for. If they have to be certified, get them certified. If they don't,
I think that's a little different from being a law enforcement officer.
So
well, assessors and all that other stuff.
Remind me.
So,
what the deficit is in the department, projected revenue and collection of how much are we losing in the ambulance? What was it, 400,000 or?
The last I checked, and I haven't got numbers from the treasurer's office in the last month and a half. Yeah, you're probably right about that 400-ish.
So I spent a career about 30 some years in the collection
Mhm.
business, and I know you have to have the right people and they have to consistently do their work. Getting along with somebody that I guess I'm saying I'm thinking we can easily pay for it just by paying for it, by getting somebody that can manipulate the processes and get the payments done coming in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We're it's a big hole in our cash flow for the county, and to me, a good qualified bill collector could probably double or triple what somebody that's just there working on by the hour for whatever reason.
I agree with you. There's a lot of different ins and outs to the billing process on the EMS side that those courses truly help those people do a better job. I'm not saying that they wouldn't continue to bring in revenue, but we want to do our due diligence and make sure that we're recapturing as much of that as we possibly can without leaving money on the table.
Do you have any of the job descriptions for this job? Or maybe that'd be something we could review too. Cause I went, when I first was a commissioner, it was Brenda, and then I think Lisa was doing it part-time. So we had, 1.5 employees, and now we have
2.5.
2.5 going to 3.5. And again, government grows, it never goes back. So that's a concern. We're all small government people. If we're gonna do this, I think an updated job description is something I'd like to see. And maybe we do put that criteria of, you have a year to get certified. Why wouldn't we send these people to school, get educated, know the ins and out, know the new way to do it? And that they should know that that's the goal coming in. I know Maria, we moved her from the nurse's office there, and that may be a little different, but if we're out looking for somebody long-term who's gonna be a biller there for hopefully 10 years, maybe that needs to be the expectation that we start out with.
And I actually got a list from Brenda today of what her job duties kind of are. And so I just need to get that written up, and more than happy to produce a job description and compare it to the one that's currently on file.
Yep. And I guess I'd like to start there before because we have 7 months before it's not something we have to do today,
Yeah, and I think one other thing too, I'm just not entirely sure, it's like, can we make a temporary full-time position under this, where we have to approve a new position. Can we make that temporary position? Is there something that we can do in our motion to say that this is you have the extra person, the extra full-time for 6 months, and then you have to try to get back down to the.
Yep. That's a good point, because, we know people's life situation changes, and, we don't know what this summer's gonna bring, and maybe people unretire, and then we have, 4 people in that office where, is there enough for work for 4? I don't know if there is. And
Lisa pretty much takes the entire summer off right now, and that's currently kind of the plan moving forward. And so, to make sure that we're fully staffed with having this extra person, whether it's temporary, full-time, I'd be fine with that for a 6-month period, if that makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to, not decide on this today. If we can see some updated job descriptions, I think now would be the time. And, personally, if we could hire a part-time person, I think that would be better than a full-time person. Benefits, insurance, and all that, they really add up to almost what the salary is. So, and do you have an estimate of the salary range for this person?
I do not yet.
It's public knowledge, so I guess what are your other ones? Are they in the
My
form?
argument is, what do they get done? They're a
Well,
part-time person, and they're not properly trained, they don't have the experience.
Don, is your microphone on?
Yeah.
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 Speak into it, right?
Try.
Okay.
And that brings to the point of, if we're gonna hire somebody, why not have them get certified? And have them get the education. If we want somebody who's performing at the highest potential, that should be in the job description and the expectation that they're gonna go to school, they're gonna get certified as a, you know, and that's a good point you bring up. I guess if that's where I'd like to be is, you know, take some time. We have
I don't
time to look
That's
at this.
Yeah. Do you think you'd be up for a postpone this to the first meeting of January?
Yeah, or the second, if that
And-
gives us time to,
To give
Yeah.
time to get the full job
Yeah.
description and
yes.
the salary, and so then we can have the full impact.
Okay.
And then, you know, and then also, you know, I think we would try to make it with that, sort of that restriction as a temporary full-time position.
Yeah. And again, you know, this is not on you, but these types of things, I know they're probably hard to plan for, but you know, we should be thinking long-term and do this at budgeting time. You probably didn't know that Brenda was retiring, but I just, again, that's something I would like to avoid is adding positions because there's not a department in the county that couldn't use another person. And if, you know, we do this for you, then we got other people coming in and I need this person and there's no end to it.
I
So.
won't agree to that. There's a lot of departments in
Yeah.
the county that don't need another person.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you could bring some data, it doesn't have to be bring some data about what these people have done as far as
Talk about.
collecting the outstanding bills.
Okay.
And just so we know, I'm fully in support of if we hire somebody, they have to be comfortable with the collection process because it's a difficult process.
Agree with you. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, well, we plan on returning in January with full write-up as requested.
Could do second meeting in January, maybe.
I would say the second meeting, that gives you more time to get the job description put together and think about the necessity. And I tell you what, I'm thinking also that with Maria planning on retiring in 2.5 years or 3 years, whatever that number is, and with Brenda being gone in 2 years from now, we're gonna be sitting here with one person that actually knows our billing system inside and out.
Mhm.
And if that's a position that we need 2 people sitting in the chairs there, then we need to plan for that now and not a year down the road. So, I'm not opposed to looking at hiring another person at this point in time so they get trained and move forward. So that we're not in a situation we were 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, whatever the number was, looking at hiring somebody from Pennsylvania to take care of our billing situation at our ambulance. Because in my mind, that's not a way to generate a successful ambulance service in Yankton County. So.
Question on that too, like what's the office space situation like over there? Is there room for 4 people to be working in that? I mean, where is that? Where's the billing office?
Brenda has her office right inside the
Yeah.
front door. Maria is over in the
Okay.
side spot over
Okay.
kind of off to the south of that. And then Lisa's working up in one of the back education rooms at a desk. Do we have the capabilities to house 4? Yes, we do.
You don't really have a billing office per se. It's just kind of where you can fit people. I know you're cramped over in that.
We have a
building,
billing
so-
office.
Okay.
Yeah, Brenda's office is its own office and closed, locked doors.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. For your consideration in January as well, you've got a couple proposals for ambulances. We've got 2 trucks, 793, which is a 2016, and 797, which is a 2015. So it's about 10 years old. 793 is 9 years old.
Are you talking trucks or are you talking ambulance?
Ambulances. Sorry. Thank you for the question.
Can you start at the beginning again, please?
So we have two ambulances, 793, which is a 2016 chassis. We've been having several more maintenance issues. The 4 trucks that we currently have are all diesels. We're looking at replacing one in the future with a gas engine to get away from the DEF. It seems like there's a lot of companies that are running diesels that are having issues with DEF, and we can't skate by it either, no matter what we do. 797 is a 2015 chassis. The box on the chassis is 25 years old. It's been remounted a couple different times. And so that's why you have the 2 proposals for you to consider. If we would happen to go with a brand new ambulance altogether, you're looking about $320,790. If we were to do that, we would want to replace 797, which is the oldest one with the oldest box there. If we just do a remount with a gas chassis, you're looking about $206,153. And that box would be able to be refurbished and remounted without any issues. Last, as we prepared and as Dan brought up, as we started to budget for 2025, we also had $30,000 off of our proposed budget that was pulled out of it. And as the accumulation funds were ceased, one of the things that we have sitting in a nest egg that had been accumulated is approximately $171,000 in change that we could utilize to go towards a purchase of a new ambulance. So you can spin it a lot of different ways. You could take the 171 and put it towards the 320 and get a brand new truck for about $150,000, which saves you buying trucks because exponentially they've gone up in price. You used to be able to buy them for about 170, then it was 220, now we're up over 3. Or you can take the 171 and do a remount and you're talking significantly less money. However, in the future, when we have to replace 797, it's going to be the full cost of the ambulance because it's just going to get really tough to remount that box. So I wanted to spin it a couple different ways for you guys to consider looking at starting this off in January of 2025, if you guys are open to the recommendation.
I thought we just, not a couple of years ago, bought a remounted chassis.
So what are the?
So did
ages?
we buy an old remounted chassis?
And we bought a brand new
We-
chassis.
Oh, you always
put
buy
an
a brand
old
new
box
chassis.
on it.
I get it, but which one of
Yep.
these is it?
It's not neither one of them.
It's not either one of these.
What-
So how many ambulances do we have?
We have 4.
What
and
are the ages on them? We got a 2016, a 2015. What are the other?
2019 and a 2023. And we rotate them monthly to try to mitigate running a truck up with 300,000 miles and the rest of them don't have many. We try to space them out evenly. Currently, our 2019 is ambulance number 795. We primarily use that for our ambulance transports between here, Sioux Falls, here in Norfolk. That's what we primarily use. 792, which is our newest truck, we try to keep it as third out truck, so we're not adding all the miles to it. And we still put it in a rotation. However, we're not running it near as hard as we are as the older trucks.
And what exactly is a striker power load?
That is a loading system that actually we can click a button and we no longer have to lift the cot into the back of the ambulance. So it reduces wear and tear on your staffing and actually mitigates the reduction in back injuries, which is one of the highest injuries within our industry. 2 of our trucks currently have those. 2 of them currently do not. That's why I had it added into the most ambulance services across the country.
Send the ones without for the less weighty people.
And
Unfortunately, they don't say the
Yeah.
typically
weighty.
there are 2 people. in the
They should maybe start asking that on there.
So my thought is this, and I'm not saying we need to go buy a new ambulance next year or whatever. But as Eric mentioned, all 4 units are diesels. The older units, 2016 and 2015 units, are gonna start having issues, and we're gonna have to start replacing the units with
Something.
something. And there's always, I just watched Vermilion's meeting 2 months ago on their meetings, and they're actually having to replace the engine in one of their diesel units because of the DEF situation. And we're gonna start seeing issues. And that's one of the reasons with the new DEF diesel engines that in our trucking business, we have a 3-year cycle. We don't own a truck that it goes over the road that is older than 3 years old and has more than 400,000 miles on it. We have a few trucks that are local that are older, but they don't travel up and down the highways all across the nation. So the issue with the government regulations on and everything else is creating issues that the vehicles are not getting the miles out like, in a regular normal pickup where you're driving down the highway, the regen unit works fine. But an ambulance sitting in front of someone's house idling for 45 minutes or whatever that magic time is for the take care of the issue, get them in the ambulance and start driving down the road, is creating issues with the regeneration of the diesel engines.
And these 2 particular units, you have to drive down the road to regen. The newest unit, we can actually idle out back of the ambulance station and it will regen just fine. That's the way it's designed.
Yes.
And we have to regen both of these trucks every 200 miles. And it's literally putting someone in the truck, driving to Gayville and all the way back around to get it to regen. And if it doesn't reset, they have to do it again. And we've already replaced the DEF tank and pump in one of them this year.
Can't you do transports with those ones? When you do a transport, just run it to Sioux Falls and when that, get the miles on and the engine heated up and all of that, wouldn't that work?
They can.
Okay. Yeah, what's the mileage on all we got a 2023, 2019, 2016, like what's the mileage on those?
These 2 being
Yeah.
the oldest ones are about
Yeah.
140,000 miles.
Okay. And,
The 2023 is
yeah,
11,000, I'm guessing. I don't know what the,
and going to gas is a little bit of a concern to me because I know that those aren't quite as, I mean, you talking like an 8.1 liter or what are we, I mean, you're gonna have to get a bigger one, which, less gas.
6.6.
well, 6 points.
A lot of the ambulance services now are going to gas.
Yes, yeah. Well, I know that all the stuff on diesels, there's a lot of 3/4 ton pickups that are going that way as well, yeah. But I don't think they have as long of a service life as.
That's why you set up a
Yeah.
cycle where you're
Yeah.
rotating your
yeah.
vehicles.
I understand that, but we also have 2 pretty new ambulances. Could we work some sort of cycle where we have 2 good ones, maybe the other ones are more local? I'm concerned about, again, the amount of money that, the ambulance costs. I mean, we're already running a $400,000 debt. Now we're talking about adding at least 200. And if we go to a new truck over 300, that's $700,000. It's taxpayers' dollars.
That
my
we don't
concern-
necessarily have.
Well, yeah, we've done studies and we've looked at this and we want this to be successful, but I think we need to be looking at the total cost, because the total cost includes things like new ambulances and new staff members, and we just got to be careful about budgets growing faster. Our tax dollars come in at 3% or CPI, whichever's less, and truck chassis are going up more than that. Salaries are going up more than that, and county governments across the state keep getting squeezed. And so we just need to be aware of that. And
I agree 100%. The only thing what I'm saying is, again, we need to put ourselves in a cycle where we're upgrading our equipment to where we can resell that chassis rather than running the
Yeah.
wheels off of it and not getting anything.
Well, I think we're better off running it and getting.
That's not,
Getting
in
all of it out.
today's market, that's not the case.
Yeah.
It's just like with the highway department, we need to get our dump trucks and our payloaders and everything on a cycle. And I think we found that out with the last payloader where the engine starts leaking oil and it's only worth $30,000, but we got to replace it with a $128,000 machine where if we're getting rid of that before it starts leaking oil and
Mhm.
and all that stuff, maybe we can get $70,000 out of it and pay 70,000 for a new machine versus 130,000. And those are the kind of
Yeah.
things that we need to look for in the future also. Now, like I said earlier, I'm not saying that, I don't know that we should go out and buy a brand new ambulance next year, but it's something that we need to look at for in the future and be prepared. You know, like Eric said, we had been kind of preparing to buy, maybe not next year, but if we kept the process going in 2 years, we'd have the cash set aside to buy a new ambulance chassis and remount one of the boxes.
Remind me, do we have some money in a fund for this replacement?
We currently have 171,000 in change sitting there.
Is that dedicated for ambulance or is that what's left over in the budget?
That is,
That's a line
that's,
item.
that is dedicated towards ambulance. That is because we had an accumulation fund.
Mhm.
That is no longer, you guys aren't doing anymore,
We-
but that's what this was going
And
to,
we
so. Yeah.
discontinued the accumulation fund for the purpose of saying, okay, now next year or the year after, we're gonna budget for a new ambulance versus setting funds aside to do that. And that's
Yeah.
what we all agreed upon
And I would more.
at a meeting.
I would
one of our
almost
budget meetings.
rather if we could, maybe we just budget for a new ambulance when we do the budget, so we know, rather than just, and because we have, two pretty new ones, right, that are functional. Are they all perfect? No, they're not, but I think that's, enough to get us by until we budget again.
And I agree
Yeah.
that in 2026, we budget for a new ambulance. Therefore, and I don't think Eric
Mhm.
is asking to necessarily purchase a new ambulance in 2025. He just wants us the 5 of us, to be aware that it's time that we start
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about doing so.
I can agree with that, and if I had a preference to do that. budgeting
Actually,
time,
I don't think
do
that's
that.
correct. His numbers are only good through 12/31/24.
Are you looking at us either remounting or purchasing an ambulance today, or is that something we can do when budgeting time comes?
Well, the particular bids, and I agree with Wanda on what she said. We have a really good working relationship with this particular company, which is close. Which is why we like utilizing them, because their customer service is second to none. I don't know where it's gonna go in a year from now. But we're high on their list of customer satisfaction. They take really good care of us. We want to make sure. I don't know what the markup would be in another year from now. I'd be more than happy to get another quote as this expires and let you know where those changes are at, or I'd be more than happy in 2025 to come back and let you know what their projected increase in sales are going to be. And to your point, we start preparing into 2025 of making sure it's on the budget for 2026. So
Yep.
we're better prepared and
Yep.
looking forward.
Yep. That's how I think we should probably be doing it, is preparing it in the budget. So it's in the ask, so we know what we're actually spending. So,
I've chewed up enough of your guys' time.
yep.
Thank you guys for your evening. Wishing you all a very Merry Christmas and stay safe.
You as well.
Thank you.
Wish your staff a Merry Christmas from us as well. Thank you.
I have a motion to move item 15 up to now because the speaker needs to
Yep.
leave us.
I'll second that.
Okay.
I think John, you probably just do that.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
just take our item number 15 for state's attorneys,
Welcome.
fund assignments. Deb, you're up.
Yes, thank you for letting me jump ahead.
Is it in our pack? Do we have any of this in our?
It is not.
Okay.
What we discovered was that some of the other counties have been asking their commission to utilize funds that are what's called bond forfeitures. So every month, the county gets a check from the clerk of courts, which is
Forfeitures.
forfeitures. These forfeitures come from criminal proceedings. What has happened is the judge has revoked and forfeited bond for a criminal defendant that has failed to appear or perhaps has violated some condition of their bond. The process requires our office to file the paperwork, serve that paperwork on whoever posted the bond, and then have a hearing. What we've discovered is right now we currently have over 22,000 in bond forfeitures from 2024. According to the clerk of courts, another 7,900 should be coming to the county for forfeitures from November. And what our office is asking to do is have the commission approve that those bond forfeitures, so money that's coming from criminal cases, be assigned, allocated, whatever Patty's going to need to do. And she's been so great about trying to figure out how it would work, that we would be able to utilize those funds for our young adult and our truancy diversion programs. Now, these are diversion programs that aren't included under the JDAI. Patty's been great and we have that figured out. We're getting over $78,000 for what we've done in 2024. That will go back into our juvenile diversion program. Unfortunately, as we all know, that money gets allocated to us through the state. This year, they decided to give $750 per successful diversion. A year ago, it was $250, and in 2025, who knows?
So it's gone up.
So it went up from $250 to $750.
Deb, have you heard, is that proposed to be cut in the governor's budget?
There's nothing yet. And we usually don't even know the dollar amount until August, September. It's really late. So what we're focused on is that bond forfeiture money, which we know we will have every year because the state's attorney's office will continue to get that bond forfeiture hearing scheduled. Dawn, who's new to our office, undertook to go to bondsmen who hadn't paid in yet to the clerk of courts to get those bonds forfeited and paid actually to the clerk so we can get that money. So she's been very helpful in doing that. But we just need the commission approval. In Brookings, they did it and they took those funds and put it towards the alternative school that's in Brookings. So that's where a lot of their diversion programs are. We're running the truancy program out of our office in conjunction with the school district. I think it's going really well, but there's a lot of expenses. We pay for gas cards and phone cards and transit passes. And so we need a way to fund those programs. Yes, Miss Cox.
Well, I just like to, you're a teacher. I like to raise my hand. I think using some of those funds to go to the diversion program is an excellent idea, especially since I know that your office does a lot of things to get otherwise truant children to school because apparently their parents don't care or don't care enough. I'm a little concerned about the other edge of that sword where the state's attorney's office then becomes like rabid dogs chasing every little infraction that a defendant out on bond might do to forfeit those bonds.
And I
And
would,
that's my concern.
yep, and I would say, obviously, our office doesn't. We're not going to change our process. We allow the judges to decide whether or not bonds need to be forfeited. We're not going to change that procedure. But we'll take whatever funds are available. The thought process would be do it at the end of the year, so that it's not an issue like on a monthly basis, but just say, hey, we have this money and we're going to allow the state's attorney's office to use that for their programs. We are not going to chase after, and we don't have the right to. The judges have, as you know, the judges have to forfeit it. So
True, but I also know that the state's attorney's office can be a hand raiser and say, when somebody doesn't show up, Judge, we ask that their bond be forfeited.
yes,
And I mean, obviously, if that were to pick up, it would be very disconcerting to many defendants. Clearly, some of them deserve to have their bonds forfeited because they're not quick learners. I would not have a problem as long as the money that is forfeited that goes to the state's attorney's office goes towards truancy and diversion for young adults.
Do we have any estimate on the amount we're talking here? Are we talking 20,000, 50,000, 100,000? Do we?
Well, she
I think
just
right
told
now
you
it's
how
30
much it was.
30 right now.
About 30?
with the set, whenever Patty would get the 7,900 from my understanding,
It'll be about 30.
it'll be about 30. And that'll vary every year. And if the commission wants us to come back every December and make the request again, we certainly could do that. But we just weren't sure procedurally what we needed to do. But my belief was the commission needs to tell us that we can have those funds.
I want a little bit of clarification. What is an incidence when somebody doesn't show up for his hearing that he should not have it?
Well, it's not persons who show up for jury. It's persons who show up for any court appearance. If judge says, for example, they have stack week, that's when they have all the jury trials. And if my case does not settle, then my client better be there at 8:30 in the morning on the morning of the jury trial, because if they do not show up, not only do they have a failure appear, typically it's a felony failure appear, which is a new charge, but also whatever bond has been posted by their friend, their family, their mom, a bondsman can be forfeited for failure to show up. They
better
can-
show up.
I'm sorry?
They better show up.
Well, they're told that multiple times. They're told
Well,
that.
if they don't understand it, they will when the bond is forfeited and their relatives get mad at them.
And they are allowed, I mean, they have to be served. They can have a hearing. We've had plenty of hearings where the individual who's posted the bond has
Showed
come
up.
and said, you know, I don't know what happened. And then it's up to the judge.
Yeah, because
So
for
how many of these cases where you get the bond forfeiture, how many of those cases are where we have paid for public defenders to defend them?
I don't know that she could even answer that question because it's nonsensical,
It's what?
nonsensical.
Yeah, I don't know. Typically, are they represented? They may be, but they may be unrepresented as well.
If in misdemeanor cases, for example, if you're from Nebraska and you come across the river for riverboat days and you get a DUI because you're out of state, out of county, there'll be a $500 cash bond before they let you out. If you're a Yankton County resident and you get a DUI at riverboat days, you have a PR bond, which means your personal recognizance, you promise to show up for court. And then it's a $500 unsecured bond. So if you don't show up for court, then judge does a failure to appear cash only bond. But the people from Nebraska, they pony up the cash in order to get out of jail, or they're going to sit there for a while. If it's a felony case, every felony case has a lawyer, whether it's retained or court appointed. Because unless they
it's
refuse
a
to be,
court
unless
appointed-
they refuse to be represented, because there are some that do.
But if it's a court-appointed attorney, we're paying for the court-appointed attorney.
We're paying for the court-appointed attorney, and unfortunately, there does not seem to be any method whereby the court can say, I'm going to give you a court-appointed attorney and you need to pay $25 a week
Yeah.
in order to keep that. The judge doesn't do that. But as a part of any sentence, they are required to repay the county the court-appointed fees. Unfortunately, most of these people do not have assets. They don't have cars. They don't have houses. They don't have real estate. They do their dealings in cash, so they don't have a bank account.
So we keep letting them do it over and
Well,
over.
we don't
We
keep,
keep-
we don't
and-
keep,
And the taxpayers in Yankton County keep paying.
You keep paying for it.
I don't have a problem with, the bond forfeiture, I guess, where I'd like the commission to be maybe more involved. I wouldn't have an issue with a big percentage of that going to the state's attorney's office for the good work you guys do, but it could also go into a fund and then we distribute it at the end of the year to certain programs.
I was going to ask is exactly that is
Yeah.
where, in the years past, where has all these funds gone?
I'm sorry?
It goes to the
It
general
goes to
fund.
the
Just,
general-
they've just been
Yeah.
going to the general fund.
It,
That's right.
it's not earmarked for anything
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
that's why we were asking. And
It should be earmarked for the state's attorney's office for the young offenders to try to keep them from being 28 or 38 or 48-year-old offenders.
My one question with that is it was you assigned for truancy diversion that's not included in JDI, you said?
well,
Because
it is,
I don't understand.
it is if it's the juvenile,
Mhm.
but we have families that the kids are too young
Okay.
for them to for us to actually put them on diversion.
Okay.
So the family itself is on diversion.
Yeah.
It just makes more sense that way. I don't want to put an 8-year-old on diversion
Yeah.
because their mom or dad won't get them to school.
I don't have any, and I support that idea, but I think we could do a fund where it goes to Patty and then you guys, you come and you say, well, we had 7, 8-year-olds and this is where this funding is going, and then it's transparent in the,
Well, do we make
People know.
do we make the highway department do that?
well, yeah, but we're also, I just think that's a better way to go than we
As-
don't know how much money is going.
But
Well,
And it wouldn't be part of the budget.
you would know at the end of the year, and if
After
it's,
been spent.
no, they have to, they have to come, she's saying we have to come to you to say, there's $30,000, can we have it?
So if it's 10,000 next year, because everybody shows up for court, then it would be 10,000. I mean,
But that's why I think it's important to earmark it to truancy and youthful offender diversions rather than just letting it run rampant. I think it should be earmarked to try and
Okay.
to keep these people out of juvenile detention, because that costs a lot of money, as we all know.
If Wanda, if you know more about this than all of us, and if it's something that you'd support, then I would support it as long as there's some, you would come to us, at the end of the year, there's 20.
Well, they would come to you
Yeah.
come to the commission at the end of the
And
year.
I am fine with it.
They're not
If
just
you-
gonna go, oh, I think this week we're gonna go on a cruise. No, I don't think that's appropriate.
But you would
Interesting, but not
rather-
appropriate.
You would rather send it to truancy, and I'm just bringing this up. It matters not to me, but you'd rather send it to cover truancy and stuff like that rather than offset the $13,000 that we wrote out a check to Sioux Falls to.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
because those people are already, in my opinion,
but
Wait,
Patty's,
Patty had something.
Patty needs to make a point.
The county gets money from the state, you can't just decide to go and, okay, let's use it for this one, use it. It is already earmarked in revenue. We budget for that every year, how much money we're gonna get in. And I'm saying, if you wanna do this is up to you, this is fine, but you can't just keep going and saying, we wanna spend it on this and it's there for a certain reason.
And that's why I was suggesting earmarking youthful diversion and truancy. Because in my opinion, by the time they get to JDC and we're writing this $13,000 a month check,
Yep.
they're, in my opinion, they're written off anyway.
So to Wanda's point, you're trying to take care of these kids while they're young.
In
before they even
advance.
Get to, yeah, I agree with
A
that.
preemptive strike, if you will.
Was that a motion, Wanda?
Yes.
And then I would second Wanda's motion. Is that okay, Patty, or do we need more
right.
details?
Do you wanna assign it?
You wanted it
So they
assigned
can
for,
spend it next year or?
Well, I don't think they can retroactively spend it.
And I think that was Patty and I've had the discussion. Everybody's struggling because that account has been set up forever. And I think what I told Patty was, I don't know, does the commission assign it to us? Is that the correct terminology? Like what happens? I think Patty's gonna try and figure that out. What I would be asking for is a motion that bond forfeitures that this.
To get that into the county system.
And then we can do it when we need to do it.
Have that done.
Yeah.
So let's postpone until the 27th.
Yeah, I like that idea. No.
Because we don't have anything else to do between
You know
Christmas
what?
and
We
the
got-
first of the
You know
year.
what? It's the 27th. We all decided that we were gonna be here for the meeting, so this is only the third issue that we're postponing.
Oh.
And none of those issues are gonna take very long to decide once we have the information that we need to make the decision.
and I,
This was just brought up tonight in 10 minutes ago, so.
We've been talking for.
what
Yeah,
additional
Well-
additional information do we want to get? I'm not,
And we've just
Patty
struggled.
needs to find out how to go to work and
Okay.
assign the funds coming in.
Yeah.
Is my understanding.
so Patty, you need a little extra time then is what we're saying?
Decide to do it on the 27th.
Okay, I'm fine.
The end of year
I
stuff.
make motion to postpone till the 27th.
A motion to postpone till the 27th. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Further discussion? Motion by Dan, second by Ryan. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Opposed, nay. Motion
Nay.
carries. Motion carries.
You oppose?
Wanda opposed.
I oppose moving it, yes.
Uh,
Because we spend all kinds of time and money on ambulances and ridiculous things. And we can't make a motion to try and help the children
yeah,
today.
And
But
Patty,
that's fine.
we'll keep talking about it. Thanks.
I think it's a good idea, Deb. So, Deb, can you make it on the 27th if we have some more questions?
She's probably
I
gonna be
don't think
gone
we're gonna
because she
have
has
more
plans,
I don't think we're gonna have any
Okay.
more questions. Patty's gonna decide how to.
like
how to-
normal
what to do As
humans.
far as.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have an issue with it. Okay, I think we're scheduled for 1300 now. Correct?
1:00, right?
On.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Moving on. Family health insurance discussion.
Do you want me to take this or?
I'll take this.
Okay,
Basically, at our last meeting, when we approved to get our health insurance through Risty's agency in Sioux Falls. And we also wanted to make the motion to pay for the single employees' health insurance premium. We also, I think that we need to take that amount of the single person's premium and deduct it from the 4 employees that we have that have family insurance premium coverage. So take that, and if it's $70 that we pay per month for the single person premium, we should deduct $70 from the person that has family.
yep, so.
And I've had-
Get
and
the
I've
same
had it.
benefit.
At least one email where people who are on other people's
No,
health insurance plans would like to have that $70 bump as a bonus every check.
I'd move approval to, unless people have other discussion, move approval to give the county family plan employees the same $70 benefit as the single plan county employees.
I have a motion by Dan to,
That I have insurance by the county.
That, exactly, that have insurance by
Through
the
the
county.
county.
Yes, that's correct.
a motion by
Second.
Dan, second by Wanda. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Can we get a 5-minute break?
5-minute break.
Is that all right? Motion for a 5-minute break.
Motion, second. Hurry back, Dan. Hurry back, Dan. Are you seconding?
Yeah.
Okay, we have a second by Don. All in favor, aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Is there any of that left, Don?
Yep. Send it down.
What? It is, that by December 27th is gonna suck ass.
No, it's not.
I have a trial on the 2nd and 3rd of January, so I don't want to spend more than an hour here talking about things that we could have handled.
Brian,
Oh, okay, thanks.
Wanda,
You and I. Dang
good
good.
stuff.
We're awful good.
Make a motion to go back into.
Got a motion by Dan to go
Second.
back into regular session, second by Ryan. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. State of South Dakota budget cuts to veterans service officers.
May I take this one, Mr. Chair?
You bet.
Yeah, unfortunately, we saw, from the budgeting of the group dress that the state plans to cut all reimbursement benefits for veteran service officers and tribal, to the counties, which is unfortunate. It actually goes further than that. And as far as the nameplate that says, veteran that they put on the gravestones, I guess the state is so hard up for money that they, won't even provide the reimbursement for that anymore. It's really unfortunate. This sounds like it's going to be a permanent cut. We hope that it gets changed in the legislature. I'm already talking to some legislature, but right now we don't know. But in the meantime, as a veteran, I think this is something that we need to address. I talked to Mr. Stickney about it. He has been getting pretty overwhelmed with veterans from the surrounding area. I've been up there a couple times and he has 4 or 5 people waiting in line. According to him, he's getting at least 1, if not 2, veterans a day from Clay County, for example. And we want to serve everybody, but it shouldn't be at the sacrifice to Yankton County veterans. So I went and I spoke with all our surrounding counties, and quite frankly, there was no interest in creating a VSO office where we would serve everybody. I was a little disappointed in that. And I think that kind of leaves us with the choice is that we have to change our policy to reflect what the state has, and we service Yankton County veterans, and then maybe we do out of county veterans on a case-by-case basis up to the VSO. I guess that would be my proposal. I had hoped that we could work with the surrounding counties, but at this point, there's no interest in that. So any questions for me? Anybody?
I think that Yankton County residents should come first.
Yep. I do, and Rob has been he's he's been getting a little overwhelmed and, I know there's, he has a lot of people there and, he's not getting his lunch breaks and stuff. So
If there are,
Can we take, okay, so
your microphone.
a veteran from Clay County comes over to visit with Rob, and Rob takes care of that
Mhm.
gentleman or lady
Mhm.
and gets them the needed
Mhm.
help, assistance that they get. Should we talk to the commission in Clay County and say, hey, on a case-by-case basis, obviously your guy's not doing what he needs to do to help the veteran. So shuffle some of that, the pay that you get for reimbursement
Yeah.
from your VSO. I
Yeah.
mean, that's,
Yeah, that was kind of the plan, but then now all the reimbursement gets chopped and I've had those conversations. We will not get a penny from, well, I think this is an example of, you gotta wonder, so the State Department of Veterans Affairs is actually adding employees and doing a bunch of other stuff. They chose this program to cut probably permanently. And I think they need to feel some of the pain too. And unfortunately, I would propose we serve Yankton County veterans, other veterans on a case-by-case basis up to Rob. And we need to put a big sign up there that, if you're not happy, you can call the State Department of Veteran Affairs because that was their decision. It
and
almost,
how about their own county commission?
well, what's that? Well, and that's another example, is we have the only full-time VSO. Bonholm guy has 3 other jobs. Hutchinson guy has different jobs. Clay County guy has 3 other jobs. Union County is losing their VSO. They're gonna be coming here. Turner County's got part-time and Rob is very good. And word of mouth, people here,
Sure they do.
Rob had taken, I've heard many times, I went to X County and I got no results and now they're out the door. And to Wanda's point, their counties could have worked with us. I like the surrounding counties. They chose not to, and this is, I think, yeah.
but the
Mm.
person is gonna be
Mm.
left out, whatever, is the veteran that
Yeah.
needs the help, and that's the one that's gonna suffer.
Yeah.
Nobody else is gonna suffer.
Yeah. And I don't want that to happen, but then that would be a chance where they maybe should go to their county commission and work something out with us.
I think they should anyway.
Yeah, well, I agree. And as a veteran, this is a tough decision for me to, well, what do you think, Don? Because right now, why is a Yankton County resident waiting for somebody from another county to be seen? Because we're getting so overwhelmed. And the state had an option in their $7 billion budget to take care of veterans and they chose not to. And when some guy dies, he can't even get a little plaque because it's cost the state $200. And I asked the guy on Friday, you're cutting this program? Oh, it's less than 60,000. And that's what he chose. He chose the ability to let a veteran down and his family one last time when they're putting the guy, they won't even put a plaque and say he served. And that's a choice our state of South Dakota has made, not us. They made that choice. Sorry to get upset about it, but I'm the one who's burned up and the only way we're going to make a change is if we say this is a direct result of the state of South Dakota's actions. And if they want to restore the funding for that, I'll gladly take a look at it again. But again, unfunded mandate dumped on county after county. And yeah, they are hurting the veterans and they should talk to their state legislators about it. And they should talk to their county commissioners about it. So.
And their newspapers.
And the newspaper, I hope the newspaper reports on this because I think it's a travesty that this is how we treat our vets in the state of South Dakota is by the state continuing to cut them, and if it's
Maybe we could take some of the money from the fireworks.
well, I would.
$60,000 isn't much.
I would think we could do something along those lines. And guess what? If it's too expensive to take care of these guys when they come home, don't send them to war in the first place.
I get everything
Yeah.
what you're saying, Dan,
Yeah.
and I appreciate what you're saying. I hate to,
Mhm.
I hate to turn somebody away.
Well, I think we leave that up to our VSO, and if he doesn't have anybody waiting in line, he serves them. But if he's got
Prior
six
commitment.
people in Yankton County residents waiting for somebody who should be going to their own county, that's where we're not treating our,
One of the problems is, Dan, is that we have an exceptional
Yeah,
service officer and he wants to help
he
everybody
does.
and he won't probably send them
Yep.
away. And consequently, he'll get burned out and we'll lose it.
Yep, and that's what happened to Union County's guy too.
So, if Bonham County and any of the others who are surrounding us don't want to support their veterans, I say that's their choice. And
I'm not saying don't help him. I'm saying it's up to Rob's decision to do it. And if he's got time, but to Don's point, I know he's missed many lunches where he can't leave because he's got 6 guys. And the other option is, do we hire another VSO and then take care of all I mean, that's what we're gonna probably need to look at.
Or make them make appointments.
or
Yeah.
sooner or later, we'll have them come
Well, then-
from Aberdeen.
I'm sorry, I don't have time for you until 2 weeks from next
Yeah.
Thursday.
I mean, that could be, and John's, you're the liaison. Maybe that's what we do, is we do one Friday a month where we service out of town vets. And we have a sign up and they can call the state of South Dakota and they should complain, and they should complain to their state legislators that this is the consequence for them cutting that funding. That office is a $70,000 office. It cost us that. And the state pays what, 4,200, and now that's too much for them. I mean, it should be a lot more than that. So, I guess I'm getting upset about this. So I won't make a motion on this, but if one of you guys wants to, I think it's a disservice, and I think it needs to get attention by doing something to the state. And, I want to take care of these guys too, but I don't want to burn our guy out and then we have nobody, and then nobody's getting served, because it might come to that. So.
And I guess I don't necessarily know that we need to do anything this evening, but I will talk to Rob in the very near future and see if there's something that we can come up with.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily think that this is the time to make a decision on how we want to move forward with this, because I don't think the cut is going to take place. I don't think I don't think our legislatures will make that cut for this particular item. I mean, legislators can still cut it out of the budget proposal that the governor's put in. So,
Well, and
Maybe we can take some of that 180 million from the prison.
I doubt they'll give that up. So,
be
But-
that as it may, and even if it gets restored,
and I think they
But-
should put a bigger share
yeah,
into it. I don't,
I agree, be that as it may, even if it gets restored, the issue still is, to Don's point, we're getting everybody.
Huh?
And our guy is getting worked like a rented mule, and there'll come a time where he
Yep.
says to heck with it, and then we
Nope,
don't have
I
anybody.
get that.
And
Maybe we can get Rich to come in and help on a
pro bono,
pro bono
Yeah.
basis.
do we want to post? Yep. Yep. Talk to your state representatives, is what I'd say. Come on up, this is videotape, come on up and tell people.
I'll talk.
Yep. And to be honest, our state reps are very good, but we gotta,
That's
you
okay.
got the right hat on.
You got an army.
I would help. You guys show me, place me with somebody, I'll go and I will cuss. That's the way I am.
Yeah.
They call it Army Creole. You can look it up on your phone. That's a language. And if I cuss too damn much, and I offend somebody,
Too bad.
I don't care. I'm tired of it. Veterans are being treated like crap.
And we're tired of being pushed around by the
Yes,
state
sir.
on something like this. We're talking,
Federal government, state, it don't matter.
talking a few bucks, and I think that the salt in the eye is they
Just to
won't
get a
even,
name
they
on
won't
it,
even do a little plaque on your headstone
I'm with you.
anymore because
You
it's
show me
now
where to
too
go and
expensive.
I'll go. I don't care.
Don't talk to the newspaper guy back there.
I'll
Tell him
go.
Okay,
Do we want to postpone
Thank
this to the 27th?
no, we're not gonna postpone this.
I would.
I will talk to Rob and see what,
Okay.
but I agree. I mean, the only way we're gonna get anything or that we're gonna be able to handle this is like you say, on an appointment only basis or something like that. But that's, in my mind, that's not even, it's
Yeah.
not fair to Rob, number one. 'Cause he wants to
That's
help everybody.
a one-person office, yeah.
And it's not fair to the veterans because they're the ones that are gonna suffer if we do anything. I mean,
Yeah.
and
The state of South Dakota does have an office in Sioux Falls that it is an option to go up there as well. And that's what I know some of the other people are doing, but again, I think it's just important we bring visibility to it as well. And if you want to, maybe we'll talk about it maybe next month. I think the most important thing is again, unfunded mandate. The state says you shall have a VSO and do a great job. And now we're gonna stick it to you again, counties, and just irritates me. So
okay,
I'm done.
moving on, claims.
I move to approve part one of the claims.
Second. Sorry.
Motion by Wanda, second by Dan to
Did you?
approve the first set of claims.
Definitely.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
I move to approve the second part of the claims.
I have a motion by Ryan to approve the second part of claims.
Second.
Second by Don, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion
One-
carries.
One abstention.
One abstention. November 2024 Auditor Treasurer Report, pooled cash.
I move to approve the November 2024 Auditor Treasurer's Report and Pool Cash Report.
Second.
Motion by Wanda, second by Don. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Approve advertise for budget supplements.
I
Yeah.
move to
Yeah.
approve the advertising for budget supplements.
Motion by Ryan. Can I get a second?
I'll second that, and then I have further discussion. Patty, could you just explain it's going to court costs?
Your mic's not on.
It was court costs for 195,000 and for the rate, that's our AIF, it's the township.
Yeah.
Rate.
Did
Yeah.
did our court costs exceed the budget by that much or what?
Yeah, we're right now, we're 150,000 over.
And I just make a point to our public and the people watching, court costs, another unfunded mandate on the county. We're $150,000 over budget. So when somebody does something in the community, we gotta pay to defend them. We gotta pay to prosecute them and get stuck with the bill. So,
Okay, so I have a motion by Ryan.
Yep.
I get a second.
I second it.
Second by Dan.
Yes.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, we already moved item 15 up. Now's the time for public comments.
Waited all meeting for this, so.
Well, I wanted to say something. Matt Conway from up north. I thought it was the ambulance discussion, very interesting. You know, DEF's been around since 2010. I've driven truck my whole life, so I've driven the one before and after. But anybody who'd ever ordered an emergency vehicle with diesel motor in it to begin with, even the farmers weren't even buying diesel pickups anymore when DEF came along because it's just a pain. trading stuff in every 3 years, I mean, unless you have a program. I'm not saying you were, I understand. I worked for a company, 450,000. It was kind of nice. Got a brand new truck about every 3.5 years. I couldn't resist coming up and saying that. I mean, emissions could just fall off the old ambulances, then they're perfectly good, and that's real cheap. So I know you can't do that, but I couldn't resist saying it because everybody else does it, and they run real nice. So thank you for all you do. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We fired you up now, Rich, right? We
I
first
just
we
wanted to make
told,
sure.
we calmed you down with dust control and now you're upset.
The road,
Yes.
the
Rich-
wind company
Rich-
is supposed to,
Rich, what's your last name again?
Goodrich,
Goodrich, Rich Goodrich.
Rick.
Rick. Goodrich.
I live on 294th. But this budget, you're all thinking about changing. If the PUC approves this wind farm, I don't know what they'll do. But my road still has to be fixed. That's all I.
Yep.
If they don't approve, what happens? Do we still sit and be covered? I'm not the only one, but it sure seems to bother me that I'm sitting up on a little bit of a hill. And when the winds come out of the south in the summer, and those people are hauling ass, no matter, you put 25 mile an hour on it, all your other roads are 55. I'm getting sucked with dust. So just, kind of think about that if it don't get approved. Thank you.
I just wanted to tell you one thing. Yeah, if you go up and talk to either Pierre or Sioux Falls and check with me if you want somebody to ride along. If I'm open, I'd be glad to go.
Yeah, I don't know when they're in, I don't know anything. I'm just a dude.
There'd be two of us.
Well, but I don't know when I could go up there, when they're in session. Or
Probably.
am I gonna have to stand
probably-
up and start yelling from the audience? I don't know. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get
Probably what
arrested.
we'd have to do is go to a department head and talk to them. That'd be where we'd start.
Well, if we can do that, we can do that. I don't have internet. I'm the only one. I don't have it.
No, for the VSO.
Dan will help
the
us.
veterans.
Dan will help.
I'll stay and I'll get you my number and we'll chat.
Okay.
You got a phone, right?
Yeah, I still have my landline.
Oh, hey, that's not. You know what? I wish I could get away with that. You.
That's why we retired out there.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Commission updates. Wanda, you got anything to update us with?
No.
Ryan?
Merry
That
Christmas.
worked pretty good.
Yeah, good job. Good job on the team. Give them a round of applause. That's been a long time coming.
Yep.
Great job,
Good job,
Ryan.
Ryan. Merry Christmas also. Don, you got any updates?
Got eight pages.
Well, I do have the GEOED update too, but I'll do that next,
Do it on the 27th.
the 27th. So on.
You're an all-day meeting.
So on, yes, here.
I'm going to be here for a finite amount of time and then I'm just gonna walk.
I bring this to the public's attention because this came from Northwestern Energy 2023 electronic generation portfolio. And they show in the lower right-hand corner where the electric generation come from. And I'll just read through it. Wind owned 19.5%. Wind contracted 20.4%. So over a little over 40% of it comes from wind generated energy source.
Wind?
Wind.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at the wrong circle. Sorry, I was looking at the top one.
Coal oriented is 50.6%, and natural gas and other is 9.5%. To me, this is a clear indication of the need for energy from wind in South Dakota as we face it today. So take a look at that, and I hope the public becomes aware that yes, a lot of wind power is generated, and a lot of it stays in South Dakota. Thank you.
Thanks, Don.
Thanks, Don. Dan, you got any updates?
Yeah, we had a really good 8-county meeting up in Minnehaha County. A big success. Thanks for those who could attend. Wanda is on a mental health task force for the counties, so she's doing good work there. I have a meeting coming up for the state with a proposal to look at some different software for counties. Should be interesting. Spring workshop will be April 8th through 10th in Pierre. And then the WIR, Western Interstate Region, it's a national, it's part of the National Association of Counties, is meeting in Pennington County, May 20th through the 23rd. It's probably a once in a lifetime opportunity for them to come to South Dakota. So if you can make that, that'd be great. I did get a proposal emailed to me. I think some of us have heard about, it'd be Representative Van Heusen's cut to property tax proposal by increasing sales tax to from 4.2 to 5%. And then that would cut down on owner occupied property taxes. So I have a printout of that if anybody wants to see it. So looking at a ton of bills this year. Again, reach out to your state legislators if you haven't, and just let them know the issues we face at the county. So I don't have anything else.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'd like
There you go. Thank you for this stuff.
I don't have anything new to add either.
Oh, you're on the State Alternative Transportation Board.
Yes, I
Congratulations.
was selected to the state Department of Transportation Alternative Board, which basically deals with sidewalks, bike paths, and trails. So
We're proud of you for that.
see how that goes in for the future. Other than that, I would
move to go into executive session to discuss poor relief.
Second.
motion by Wanda, second by Ryan to go into executive session. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.